hello. We started the session without pressing the go button, so Jack has been recapping us so far. Last session, we started a fight with a mimic, won. Went out into the desert, just couldn't decide whether to do desert or coast. Went up to a cactus. Cooper tried to climb in, was too thick. Went to bed, got hit by some dust methods, woke up, approached some desert people, learnt Akazam and Samas to say hello and goodbye. They give you a written note, and it may or may not be to say good things. They were very nice, and then they sodded off to the west. We bring back to Jack as he was continuing his recap from there.
I just want to say, were we not helping the wizard people corral,
a huge version of a dust method. Yes, you did. You poked fire at it to help them, and they were very impressed with you.
Yeah, you called it like a dust devil or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep, dust devil is exactly what I called it. Yep.
Yeah.
What did you do after meeting the desert people?
Well, after we helped those people, we then showed them the letter, and they got very excited.
No, you can't show them the letter they wrote.
No. So, like, they went off, and then we helped the people with the Dust Devil, right?
No. The people you helped with the Dust Devil are the people that wrote the note.
Oh, okay.
You are right. You did show the note to someone else. Who were they?
No, it was the pirates. We ran into some pirates.
Ran into the pirates. Indeed. And I believe you ran into two pirates, one of whom was called Uncle.
Yeah, big dude, Uncle.
And his wife, Rona.
Yeah, she was cool. And he was like a bit of a dick. But like, what are you gonna do?
He was like, we'll leave them alive. That's pretty much what he said, but you didn't understand it.
We're like,
yeah. You showed them the note. They didn't hurt you. And they asked if you were going to the city, and you said yes. And onwards you went to the city. Did you do anything else before getting to the city? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Apart from leveling up.
We did. We made camp again, and hunted some like coyotes or like.
You
dogs.
did. You hunted wild dogs to eat jackals. In fact,
jackals. Yeah.
And you feasted upon the jackal, and that is where we ended. You are right. Following morning, you wake up, and Jackal on Toast provided 4 max HP. Was it? I think so. Everybody has a modifier of increased max. I think Jack is the only person that doesn't. Because Jack, you're using slightly wrong method. If you click on your HP, the max HP modifier is what you want to get up to 4. Your HP was overridden, which meant you'd nerfed yourself because you'd leveled up and lost HP. So I fixed that.
All right,
cool.
So 4 on top of max HP modifier.
Yeah, we should put you at 24 for now. And indeed, you were at the Grand City of Zerkantha, which I know looks a little like a beach resort, but trust me, it's the best I could do. It is what it is. However, as you approach this sort of very traditional desert-like city, which it doesn't mean anything to you. Your characters have never seen a city, period. But what will interest you is this sort of mixture of 3 different types of building, all very close-knit in together. The first of these sort of very large stone buildings, perhaps sandstone, with huge blocks of stone piled next to each other. Building up with these lovely sort of dome-shaped roofs. Lots and lots of dome-shaped roofs made from tiles and sort of almost patinas of color on the top, which makes a very interesting vista. The second sort of level down are these wooden buildings with the occasional sort of sandstone base. You can tell that these are made from narrow timbers, probably of pine of palm tree even. And these buildings do almost sway ever so slightly in the wind. And we have a sort of medium-sized house, but as you're approaching from the outside, the first thing you see, these small... Does anybody know what wattle and daub houses are? Okay, so these are the sort of like very traditional old-school mud huts. They're well known for the Native Americans used to make them, I think. They're the ones I'm aware of. But they probably do exist elsewhere as well. But they're basically a layer of mud with reeds in between, and more mud and reeds and more mud and reeds to make this sort of fairly strong structure, usually with a thatched roof. But in this instance, roofs made of coconut hair over the top. Do they call it coconut hair? That's got to be the right word, right?
Yeah,
coconut fur, coconut fuzz, coconut fibers. That's a much better word. Fibers is a much better word than fuzz hair or fur. Exactly. Interwoven coconut hairs making up these roofs. And as you approach the city from the outside, you will note that the first houses are a little more basic. These are the sort of your wattle and daubs and your Lots of canvases draped over. You can see these people are really very interested in keeping the shade. It feels a bit shantytown-esque as these houses. You sort of have to go through this narrow weaving path between these wooden houses outside the wall of the city before you get in. And it is there that I will hand over to you.
What are we thinking? There's a lot of Kefs.
Yeah, that's the question, actually. How many, people do we see milling about?
At the moment, as you look at these outside houses, give me a perception check.
Also, I just wanted to say I thought that we came to the realization last session that they are not all Kefs.
But you had no better word.
We don't have a better word for them.
Yeah.
That's my thinking.
You can choose between Kefs and Thems. I think Kefs makes more sense. Your perception check, Punch.
11.
Yeah. So you look around and you don't see anyone at first. And then just about catch sitting outside one of these buildings, but with a sort of outhouse of two prodded poles and a little canvas over the top. So sitting in the shade is what looks to be an older woman, sort of in her 60s or 70s. And she's doing something with a material that moves in her hands. It's sort of round and it keeps spinning, and she's making it make different shapes. And then just out of another sort of almost like a tiny little slitted window, you see two pairs of bright eyes sort of darting towards you and looking at you, and quiet voices mutter to each other in slightly higher pitched tones. For the most part, you don't see people out. You do know that you saw a huge exodus of people out towards the docks. Might have something to do with it. You're also on the outskirts. It's also quite hot. So I'm not sure how much your characters would care about it being hot. Or even notice, really.
We are outdoorsy folk, right?
Yeah, and not only that, but you've come from further south. Chimvaya was hotter. It wasn't desert-like. It was much more humid, and everything was perfect. But you're very used to the heat.
Well, I don't know if it's so much what we want to see first as where we want to be seen first. People are going to notice us.
Those buildings over there look much nicer.
I think someone's already seen us from in that little window there.
As you say that, a small little sort of 3-foot Kef comes out, quite dark of skin, sort of shock of black hair down to the side, wearing just a sort of large rag draped over his shoulder. And you can see him sort of holding something in his hand. And your sharp sense of smell, you will all pick up that it is some sort of food he's holding. And he's sort of waving it out in front of you as if you were a wild animal.
Sorry, James, when you said 3-foot Kef, I was like, what fucking thing has 3 feet?
What a weird city this is.
Oh, yes, it has only 3 feet of height.
Yes, I
It's a-
gathered that.
A child.
Yeah.
Run away.
I'll waddle on over.
Okay. And yeah, you see him sort of holding it like out in front of him, and he sort of looks at you one way and the other, and then a massive string of words comes out at you at like 100 miles an hour. He just babbles on really quickly, and you don't catch any of it. He seems very excited, and he calls back to the house.
I'll just slowly go to grab the food in his hand.
Yep, he sort of lets it go, and you can see that it's sticky. It sticks to your hand a little bit.
No.
And yeah, you get a smell of, the smell to be honey.
Oh.
And it's something that's sort of covered in honey. And then a taller Kef, sort of 5.5 foot tall, with sort of a headdress on, comes out and grabs the boy and sort of no, and sort of yanks him inside, and then she comes out brandishing a stick, and she sort of waves it at you. And, oh, yeah.
I kind of like quickly shove the honey-covered tree in my beak.
When you do that, she sort of stops for a second and holds the stick back. And
Alakazam.
not Alakazam, please. Just Alakazam.
Say it like that.
No, I'm not having that. We're not having Alakazam in our campaign. Leave him alone. I was only trying to give you a hint, and she sort of Alakazam, and then she lets out another string in a different tongue, and you would recognize this to be similar to what the desert wizards who went to the west spoke. And then when she notices you don't seem to understand a word of it, she sort of backs up gently, and she puts the stick on her porch. She goes in and she brings out a very, very small, sort of almost like a pot plant size bucket that has water in it.
Oh, good. I'll clean the stickiness off my feathers.
Okay, she's currently holding it. Are you gonna reach over and dip your? She's not. No. She's like holding it in her hand.
Oh, then I'll just fly up.
You're actually just gonna fly up and stick your hands in the pot she's holding.
Well, I'll fly up and then land on her, so to like stand on her arm. And
Josh, you're 3.5 foot tall and she's 5 foot tall. If you imagine like a 14-year-old sitting on the arm of a adult, that is not gonna work.
I'm still just a dainty little duck, though.
No, you're not. You are a thick duck. She's holding a very small pot in her hand.
Yeah, I'll just.
You might want to just wait a moment.
Okay.
Yeah. So she then dips 2 fingers in it, and you see her like sort of cast it out on the ground in front of you, like just a dribble of water in front of you. And you did see the desert people before place water in a cup in front of you. This might be a smaller gesture for somebody who perhaps has less water. And then she's sort of putting the 2 little flicks on the ground, and then she sort of gestures for you to pass if you wish, and begins to walk back into her house.
Trade with her.
James, the players are a lot quieter than you on Twitch.
Well, why's that happened?
The volume of us is extremely low.
Why? I give up on Twitch today. The volume of everything is quiet today. I don't really know what's going on. Music's too quiet. I can
hear the music.
Yeah, the music's fine.
Carry on talking, guys.
So I guess I'll just hand.
So did we not have to trade with like when we were offered the water? Were we not expected to trade with them, or did we not?
When
give them
they
something?
placed the water in front of you, you did give them something in return, but she's just sort of put 2 dribbles of water on the floor, so I don't know what you want to do with that. She's also gone to walk away into her home.
I mean, they're probably evaporated
she's
right
left.
now. Oh, she's left.
Yeah, she after doing that, she doesn't take her eyes off you. She just backs in towards her house.
Can I try and give her the letter?
Yeah, of course. Do you hold out the letter?
Yeah, I'm just gonna continuously give it to people until something good happens.
She sort of looks at you and shakes her head. And then she sort of lets out a string, and the young boy comes back out and reaches past her and takes the letter and reads it. And you can tell that he's reading it out loud to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she sort of nods and... Pity. Zerkanta. He points towards the city for you to go on, and she gives you your letter back.
The supplies.
I turn back to the group. We need to go to a Saitai?
Hi.
Yeah. That's me trying to say city.
Oh, got you. Yeah, okay. She will sort of gently correct you once, and then after that, not really bother. But she will sort of go, si.
Zirkanda.
You hear the boy sort of babble something out loud. I'll take an insight check, but if you you can roll it with intelligence instead of wisdom if you wish. Anyone. It's an insight check, but you can use in or wisdom here.
I got a 4.
I got a 24.
Ooh,
Hey, go on, Munch.
I got a 16.
You're going to gain
Got a
2 words here,
13.
Munch. As he says, it speaks! You work out that he is surprised that you are talking, and something in what he has said must mean that you are talking. It speaks.
This boy is surprised.
I think he doesn't expect we could talk.
Why couldn't we talk?
I don't know.
He's talking.
I mean, well, I guess they are. They must be, but I assume there's no different languages on our own island.
No, but the animals don't talk, right?
Sure.
The critters
Right.
talk, but the little animals don't. So,
But we're not
suppose you would
animals,
have
we're
a
critters.
No, but you might
That's-
have a
that's a
reference
Diego
point
thing,
that
that's a
might
Diego
be
thing.
sort of what they're seeing at you. But yes, you wouldn't expect
They
them to
think
you
we're
wouldn't speak.
animals?
This whole time they've been babbling. I guess they think we do too, and now they're surprised that we could even do
I'll-
that.
I'll look over at the kid and be like, I'm no animal boy.
Essa come on here.
But
Sort of looks you dead.
I don't understand. But like, why do they think we're animals?
Or why don't? Yeah, maybe they don't think you can talk. Maybe they're not sure what you do. I guess is a better way of putting it. I wouldn't say that.
That was in character.
Right,
Yeah, no, I know, but I am just clarifying that maybe I didn't want to force that view on you. But yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
look,
good.
um,
Sorry,
I
I'm
mean,
trying
you
to
have-
play dumb.
You have to admit, we do look a little bit like them.
They look like animals.
Some of them.
Weird
They
They
hairless
just don't
animals.
have as much hair. Or fur, sorry.
Well,
Feathers.
I mean, their
Man,
scarves and
hey.
stuff are a little bit more than mine. I never saw any of
Sure,
the animals back
Look,
at home
look, they-
wearing stuff.
you know, what they wear, what they do, what they speak, it might be different, but doesn't mean it's like different.
What's different? How is different than
Well, they
different?
think we're different, but we know that they're different.
But did they know they're different?
That I think they think they're different.
I think they think they're special or something.
That's the word I was looking for.
Oh, you think they're special, and we're just special?
Well, they think they're special. We're special, but they think they're special.
at
But then
this
we
point,
should
the
teach
kid,
them that they're not special.
The kid is gonna sort of shout something out, and he goes into the house and he pulls a smaller version of him out, who looks like she might be female, and he brings out a spherical object, and the hen drops at the ground at his own feet, and then kicks towards you on the floor. It sort of rolls towards you, and he sort of lets out this shout that is Eba, and he keeps shouting it, and sort of running past a few houses, shouting Eba, and then comes back. And after about 2 or 3 minutes, multiple versions of these small Kefs in slightly different colors are going to come out. And
Oh no, we're being surrounded.
everybody is looking at... I'll roll a d4 here. Everybody is looking at Diego. This spherical object has rolled to his feet.
Oh no.
All of them have stood by watching you.
There's
it
no
a-
fish in that one.
Is it a trap?
Yeah, can I? I'm gonna stoop low and sort of look at it, snip it.
He sort of shakes his head and then he motions a kick. Like the way he kicked it to you.
It's a fruit.
I'll kick it back at him.
And then kids start rushing towards the ball. They're all trying to get to it. And every time they get the ball, they kick it towards you, Diego. But it rolls past you and goes to Boulder Breast. And Boulder Breast, it rolls up towards your feet. And suddenly, again, all the children sort of stop. They're not sure what you're going to do with it.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Oh no.
One of the kids raises his hands and sort of shakes his head and sort of points to the ground and motions kicking it again.
How heavy is it?
It's about as heavy as a soccer ball.
I mean, I know it's a soccer ball.
Yeah,
Don't
but
get
I
me
don't know
wrong.
how heavy that is. Like, what's that in pounds? It's not heavy.
I don't use pounds. I use metric.
Great. I don't know how heavy it is in metric either. I don't know how heavy a football is in period.
I got
In a measurement, but as you hold it, It's quite light. It's definitely got air in it. You can tell it's made of animal
300
skins.
grams.
There you go. It's 300 grams. Definitely wrapped in some sort of animal skin.
Right.
And you've now got sort of 12 short Kefs just staring at you and slowly advancing.
I'm gonna take it and hold out my hand. I'm gonna sniff it. I'm gonna lick it.
Two of the children start laughing.
I think it's covered in skin, so it's not a fruit. Diego, what is this?
Was it the last victim?
I don't know, but I don't want it near me. It's gross looking.
It
Kick it
tasted
back.
like dirt.
That's going to
They
be
seem to
rolling around the
enjoy it.
sand for 7 years.
Kick it back to them. They seem to enjoy it.
I don't have the legs for it. I can't really do kicking.
You do little kicks.
I put it on the ground and do a little kick, and it just rolls like like a meter.
Yeah, that's great. And once again, the kids sort of raise their hands and Emma, and they will
I kick it
play.
out.
They will play football with you as long as the 4 of you will join in. And Munch, with your, I'm writing off the back of your previous insight check. You would note that one of the reasons that when you arrived, everybody was nowhere to be seen, because they were nervous of you. The kids had been brought inside and told to stop playing, basically, because these strange creatures were approaching. And now you're slowly starting to see adults come back out, hang up their washing. A couple of them start making things or crafting on their front porches. And after a little while, one of the ladies will come over, and she's got a huge wooden bowl in her left arm, in the crook of her left arm. And she's carrying a stack of little wooden cups that are all stacked up inside each other. And she comes over to, she'll pick you, Munch. She'll come over to you, and she'll sort of put the stack of cups down and pick up one cup and fill it up with whatever's in the bowl, and then offer it to you. Smells quite spicy. You can smell an element of fish, and definitely some vegetables. You would identify this as some sort of stew.
Yeah, I'll just relate to everybody that has sort of picked up. Like, I think they were frightened of us, but if they're gonna give us food, that seems like they're okay with it now. And then I'm just eating the thing.
Oh, sweet.
There's no way you can bury stew, so down it goes.
You're right, James.
I've got Pepsi in my eye.
Oh,
Yeah.
bloody hell.
The stew is a butternut squash and fish stew with lots of spices. And Munch, as you bite into it, it is going to catch you by surprise, just how spicy it is. And it's gonna, whoa! And you let out this sort of hoarse cough, and she laughs, and will then proceed to offer it to the other 3 of you, if you will take it, a cup of stew.
It's strong, but it's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's not doing anything. It's a lot of flavor.
I'll take a cup.
Yeah, it's very tasty. It's just a little spicy. Cooper, do you partake in the stew?
Could I try and get the ball?
The bull? Yes.
Yeah.
You've had the bull a few times. What do you do with it when you get it?
Okay, yeah. Can I tap on it to see if it's hollow inside?
It definitely seems to have air in it, yes.
Okay, then I'm gonna take out my dagger and open it up to see if there's anything inside of it. Because there might be something inside of it.
It just lets out this down, and then it goes flat.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it inside out to see if there's anything hidden
One of the
inside
children
of it.
sort of surround you, and you can see there's little hands on their hips, looking at you.
You
and-
ruined the toy nut. What are you doing?
But I thought
This
there
thing
might
is
be.
always with you,
I thought there might be something inside.
but not for now. They wanted the outside. Oh.
Couldn't you? You just could have rattled it, like a
Like a nut.
like a
like a
walnut.
nut. Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes
but
it's
what
a
if?
secret. You just leave it hidden.
What's the point in that? Secrets are meant to be found. That's the
Not
whole
today.
point of them.
Not yet.
You could have asked.
The young
Actually, no,
girl
you
starts crying.
I'll waddle over to the little girl And I will give her a pearl that I found.
A trade.
I know she's about to be rich.
Well, who's holding all of the stuff that we found?
It's in the satchel. It's over your shoulder. I think it's probably Cooper, unless you guys have managed to wrestle it off him.
Well, the pearl is what I found on the beach on the
Yes.
first episode, I think.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like
but-
all of the random stuff. Like
there was
sphere,
the bag
for
of
example.
holding. I think was in Cooper's possession. Is what I meant. Everything else, like, can be on any of
Yeah.
the satchels that you think you would be.
Well, I'll walk over to Cooper, and I'll reach into the bag, and I'll pull out two things.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna pull out the sphere, and I'm gonna pull
Fish.
out with the fish.
The
Yeah,
glass
yeah,
sphere
yeah.
with the fish. Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull out the doll, the little child's cloth doll.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll hold the sphere up, and I'll look back at everyone and be like, "It's only fair that we replace the one that Cooper popped."
As you say this, you do see Munch will spot that one of the children is coming out with another feather-skinned ball. The girl is reaching out for the flat one, Cooper, that you've turned inside out.
She doesn't want to take the pearl.
No, she wants the flat one. She broke.
Then I'll give her the flat one then.
She runs over to one of the women who is crafting outside and sort of hands it to her. And the woman sort of lets out, "Ah, yes, oh yeah, mama." And she turns it back in the right way, and she starts sort of blowing on it, and then you can see her like pull the skins tight together and begin to knit them back together. And in the meantime, they put the other one down. But all the children, Cooper, have sort of turned their back on you. They're gonna play without you. Because you stabbed them.
I'll put the sphere back then. But I'll offer the doll.
Sort of,
I'll offer the
yeah,
I'll
she
offer the
does
doll to the little girl. Yeah.
She looks very happy for a second, and she doesn't take it. She runs away into her house and then comes back out holding a different doll, but made in a similar style. And then she puts them together, and she says very slowly, "Friends," and sort of shows them like dancing together and playing together, and she gestures towards the group of children. "Friends!" And then she reaches out her hand very slowly to you, Diego. "Friends?"
I'll look back at I'll look back at my companion. I think they're called friends. This small one just explained to me. They're all friends, so.
And the dolls as
Oh.
well.
But the dolls look like them, right? They're like
No,
human.
well,
Like,
yes,
look-
yeah, I suppose a little bit. Yeah, they're human dolls,
Right?
yeah.
That's why,
Oh,
that's why
they're
Diego
all
would have given her the
friends.
doll, because the doll. I assume that the doll sort of looks like a small child, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what we're called.
So
wait a
I'll
while
look back
before
at the
you get the
girl.
word
I'll look
for
back at the
enemies.
girl. I'll look back at the girl and I'll be like, "Greeter, friends."
Sort of. Creature.
Close enough. Yes, sure.
She taps
And you are-
herself, and will tell you her name is Lilia. Lilia. And she reaches out her hand
That's a
towards
tricky
you again.
one.
Friends? Lilia? Creature? Friends?
I'll reach out slowly. I'll
She
grab
sort
her
of-
little hand.
Yeah, she sort of holds your hand, and she holds it quite tightly. And then begins to pull you towards the football game. Soccer game.
How
Like-
much stew am I allowed to eat?
You get given a cup.
Can
Can
I
I eat all
ask
of
for
it?
more?
How do you do that?
Well, I finally go up and take a sniff of they give me a cup and I take a sniff of it. Smells good. I have a sip. Tastes good. So I down it. And then I just hold it up. but like I put a firm grip on it.
He goes to take it and then realizes you're still holding it.
And I point in the big bowl, and then I point
she sort of
in
smiles and and she looks into the stew and she will take sort of your arm, Boulderrest, and get you to come with her. And she will lead you to 2 other children who she feeds first, with the last 2 of her cups. And then she takes the bowl and she pours it into your cup. Now that you can tell she's fed everyone who needs to be fed. And then she puts the bowl, the big bowl, down next to you, with it, which still has a little tiny bit of stew left in it. And pats you on the shoulder.
Oh, she must. I call out to everyone. She must be the chief, because she like makes sure everyone's fed and stuff. So she like, we should talk to her and stuff. I don't know.
Diego's playing with the children.
You're playing, Cooper. How do you feel having had the group turn away from you and carefully avoid you now?
I feel like me as Josh feels very upset and slighted, but I don't think Cooper has like.
Was he
doesn't
enjoying
massively
playing with
care.
them before you stabbed him?
No, because I think the first time the ball would have come to him, he would have tried to see what was inside of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the game they're playing doesn't really interest him. Really, I think he's more probably trying to make his way over to like these barrels.
Okay. Yeah, as you
Try
head up
and
to the
see what's
barrels,
inside
a young boy, much shorter than the other ones, comes over, and he sort of prods you in the hip, and then he motions like a ball in his hand, and he goes, and then laughs. And then he points to you and your little stabby nail.
I take the dagger out and I go.
Sort of, and he sort of lets out this big sort of and then he's like, and then he sort of gets out what looks like an orange out of one of these barrels. It's quite a large orange, but you would recognize it to be some sort of fruit. And then he takes a little stick that he's got and he just sort of stabs the orange a little bit. And then noise he makes. And then he gestures to you.
I'll stab the orange.
Yeah. And when you do, he then immediately grabs the orange and starts squeezing it so the orange juice squirts out. And he tries to catch it in his mouth and starts chuckling. And then he tries to squeeze it in your mouth.
Yeah, I'll open my... Beak or Bill? Bill, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll open my bill and let him squirt in.
He squirts
Don't say that.
Jesus Christ.
Squirt the orange juice at you, yes.
Yeah.
Squeezes the juice.
He does. He squeezes the orange, and this is his new little game, and every time it makes a little squelchy noise, he tries to do it with his mouth. And you can tell that he obviously found you stabbing the ball really funny.
Yes, I think I'll try and I feel like trick is such a bad word to use in this situation. I want to like try and trick him into opening the other barrels with me so that I don't get in trouble for looking in them.
Yeah, I mean, he will literally come with you and like he'll open some of the barrels and then some of them he'll pat on the top and sort of shake his head at you and then he'll open a different barrel or crate instead. How do you feel about the ones he didn't open?
I feel I will try and open them.
Okay. The first time you open one, there's a sort of slight buzzing noise. And as you open it, some flies sort of fly out at you.
Oh no,
and there's
is
like
it shit?
No, there's like a hunk of meat that looks like old and fetid inside. Lots of flies on it.
It's a dead dog.
It's just a hunk of meat that's been chopped and left there. And he sort of points at you and points at the barrel and shakes his head. And you can tell that maybe he's not trying to keep anything secret. He's just trying to warn you away from the bad ones. And yeah, as you explore, oh god.
I was just gonna say, so like the when we before I came into the city, when we spoke to the people who, the uncle and the woman, she told us how to like introduce our names to people, right?
She gave you I and you. As
Sure,
well
but
as,
she then got our names, right?
yeah. So she sort
Yeah,
of went
so
I and then Rona and you Cooper.
yeah. So I would like do that to the boy.
And he will tell you that his name is Baba.
Bubba.
Cool.
Uh,
Ba.
like that, yeah, Baba. And then he fails to pronounce your name a few times. He calls you Cuckoo and Pooper and Poopy and all sorts of other versions of your name that aren't quite right. And in the end, he settles on Coo. You would quickly work out this kid is a young kid, and maybe he's not fully in his talking phase yet.
Yep.
Munch. Diego is playing football. Cooper's just rampaging through other people's stuff. Boulderbreast is eating all the soup. What are you doing? Or all the stew. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not super interactive, but I think under the circumstances, Munch is really just watching the people a lot. Fits with the high perception from before, or the insight rather. But like primarily at first, especially while the little football match is happening, he is interested. He's watching the two who seemed to own the balls, like the ones who brought them out of their houses, right? And like seeing that, like, okay, everybody gets a little bit mad when they lose control of the ball, but like not permanently,
Yeah.
right? And that like freaks him out a little bit. Like it's like it's a game. It's not like that's mine. Give it back to me for real, which is strange to him. And then mostly as time goes by of that, it's more, and this is what he would remark upon as soon as anybody is like around. Probably Boulderbreast is the one who's least
Tells you that they
engaged with
found
other
the
people.
chief, yeah.
Yeah, and just sort of be like, you know, they were frightened of us, but they're kind of like back to what I assume is normal for them. They're not. They don't even seem to care that we're here anymore, except for just playing around. It's kind of strange. I thought we'd draw all this attention and it would be wild and I was worried about it, but they're just leaving us alone now.
Do you think they think we're like the big frog people that we saw? But we're not the kind of people that hunt down giant lizards.
Well, we're certainly not as scary as those guys were.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we're sort of like them, but maybe sort of not. Remember? Because they think they're special.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So not like the frog. Maybe they think the giant frog people are special in a way, like us, and they think we're the same special.
Right. Yeah. So that they're ignoring us because we're sort of less
And then-
than them.
Yeah. But no, well, we've proven that we're not gonna hurt anyone. Because maybe the frog people hurt people. Maybe the frog people hurt the friends.
That's true. I mean, if that's what friends means, we made friends, and I'll use their word for it, right? Sort of trying to work that out. With the people in the desert by helping them hurt something. So it's very confusing.
Do you think friends is another word? I don't.
Finish that point before I interrupt you. Do you think friends is another word? Does it mean people or does it mean friends?
Right. Sorry, I thought we had worked that.
No, Diego was
right.
pretty certain that they were saying that it was friends, and then she also called herself Lilia, which confused the shit out of him.
Sure, right. I just would not have said that way then.
But as you guys are having this conversation, a female comes along, and she is pulling with her this gentleman. Fairly threatening-looking, tattooed lizard-like man. And he has a little tiny dragon on the end of his staff.
Like a live dragon.
Yeah, it's a pseudo dragon.
And we've never seen dragons before, right?
Not small or large, no. But
Yeah.
you have seen a dragon born before. Very briefly. It was this guy. You didn't actually get an image of him then, but he was with the pirates.
Okay.
Anyway, this man comes over and he looks at you, Boulderbreast, and looks at Munch. He sort of bangs his staff on the floor twice and nods to you. Akazam.
I stamp my foot twice and say Akazam, and then do the.
He turns
I'll
back
do
to
the
her
same.
and motions to you, making this motion. He tries something in the desert tongue which you don't recognize, and it's a very quick tongue, and it's difficult to get anything on. Then he sort of motions to you both and points towards the city. Zerkanta.
We need the letter. Who's got the letter?
You look over and see Cooper with his sort of head almost in a barrel. He's found roasted chestnuts.
Oh yeah, Cooper.
Cooper's also found a cat.
I
Never
turn
know
around.
where they are
with-
in the barrels. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I turn around and I'm shoving nuts in my bag.
I think we need that letter, mate.
What letter?
Oh, you know what letter, no? Come on.
The one underneath all the people's nuts you just took, you freak. Everywhere you go, you're stealing people's nuts. They put them in the barrel for a reason.
Oh, dear.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't
Cooper
waddle
knows what
over.
letter. Yeah.
I know. He's
Okay.
lying.
Oh, right, okay.
But I'll waddle over and hand over the letter.
Sorry, do you hand it to Munch or to Cooper, to Boulderbreast, or do you hand it to the man?
I will hand it to Boulder.
I'm just gonna immediately hand it to the big scary dragon man.
He looks at it. Yeah. And then he will point over towards where the children are playing football. And he sort of points quite hard. Gestures sort of at his feet.
He wants the little round thing. I don't understand. Does he want the kid? Does he want the little Kefs? The little friends? He wants little friend. Munch, help me out here. He's making me nervous.
I don't know. He's seems kind of in charge or something. Like he's gets to tell people what to do. Like, is it your brother that's the chief? Is that right?
Yeah, my brother's the chief.
Like your brother, but they're not doing it. I guess we have to make them. I don't know.
I'm just
He
gonna.
waits a moment and then he sort of looks impatiently at you and he points to the spot and he points to each one of you, the three of you, and then points to the spot where he's standing again. And then he walks away towards the football. He sort of shouts and all of the kids stay still. Diego, you suddenly notice like all the kids have stopped. He'll walk right up to you, Diego. He'll sort of prod you in the shoulder a little bit and then he'll gesture for you to come with him.
Oh shit! He wanted Diego.
Right.
Yeah, that makes.
That he did.
Diego, he just wants you over here. Come over here.
You're muted, Rico.
I'll be like, all right. And I'll start walking with the guy and I'll be like, let's go, friend.
He sort of looks back at you. Friend. He lets out a sound that sounds sort of uncertain. And he looks at the four of you and he points to each one of you. You! Come! And he says, I am Misera. And he looks at all four of you as a whole and sort of gestures his hand. Cooper?
I'll raise my wing.
Boldab?
I take a small step forward and a nod, and then I retreat a bit.
And then Breast Munch?
Just sort of, I twitch my tail and just,
He points at you.
Munch.
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 And then he points back to Boldab. Says, Boldab Breast?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
and then he
that
points to
doesn't
you.
really.
And then Diego.
These men, those are names.
Friends. Kazam, come. He is going to lead you into the camp. As you pass through the main entrance,
That dude's badass.
using my mouse is very difficult as I have a cat sat on my mouse pad.
That
He
dude's
will-
more badass than you, Diego.
He
Not
will
that
lead you
bad,
through a small roofed section. And there are markets everywhere. And what will amaze all of you is there are just these stalls with food. As you're passing through, there are berries, there's bread, there's different spices and herbs, there's fresh meats, cooked things, uncooked things, cheeses and hams, and there's a counter just covered in fish freshly caught. The smells are completely overpowering to creatures like yourselves. The smell of the spices especially almost overbearing as they sort of really get into your nose. Good morning, Naomi. Yeah, you'll sort of see different vendors sort of shouting things at you and hollering, but Mr. I've forgotten his name, Misera, is going to encourage you to try and stay with him and not like stray off at all. And he leads you. Go on, Mr. Straying off. I saw that mic on mute.
I was just wondering
Mhm.
if I could try and steal some bread.
Yeah, you reach towards some bread at some point, and almost without looking, Misera's hand just reaches behind and grabs you by the scruff of the neck and pulls you in front of him. And then sort of points forwards. Come!
And I say this, by the way, to Cooper, not in an admonishing way that I normally would, but with a tone that I probably can't act, of just marveling, right? Of just like, there's so much you don't need to take any. It's gonna be here forever.
Then I suppose we can take it all later if it's gonna be here forever.
It's just so much. It must be. It goes on forever.
And it does feel a little like that. A bit like there's just everything going on. And one thing that's a little overpowering, I guess, to you, if I...
How are they all not fat?
Well, quite a few of them are.
There must be many of them.
As he is going to lead you through a large outdoor area of the bazaar. And here you see for the first time, sitting down in front of some stalls, some camels. In fact, one of them has decided to sit on a stool. Look at him. He's having the time of his life. But anyway.
That's a bugbear.
And he leads you towards what looks like sort of this large domed building. He sort of turns back to you all and... Friends, come. Zera knows. He will lead you into this little building.
That's a very shapely hill, isn't it?
A shapely hill.
The domes.
That's what I think the building is.
Oh, right, yes.
I don't.
Yeah. I mean, you do have buildings on Chimvaya, but they're just little squat things. This is quite.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Boulder Breast can comprehend that this can be built though.
But when you enter into this hill, He will lead you towards. No, not you. Not you. He'll lead you towards a man. He will gesture towards him. This is Clinks. Clinks, Boulderbreast, Munch, Hooper, Diego, Data, Clinks.
Stamp my foot twice. Say, Akazam.
Clinks sort of. Aye! Speaks! Oh. Eka. Yeah. And as he's saying this, Munch, you look over to the right and you see a couple of goats in a pen. You see a large monkey wearing a t-shirt in one of the large cages. You see a bird that squawks, sort of sounding a little like words. And you see a couple of empty cages, and then just outside you see a camel trussed up. Link sort of looks and, no. Shakes his head, and Mizera sort of shrugs. Gestures outside the door. Zerkanta, you go.
I guess.
I don't know why he brought us here, but to this other fella. But I guess we're finally in the place they called that they're using that word for.
Yes, this is Arcanta place. We should bid
You mean
farewell.
all of what we came from wasn't Zarkantha, and that this is finally Zarkantha, and that all that other stuff was just extra stuff?
I mean,
I suppose we
seems
never
kinda
were.
crazy.
Bloody hell!
I'll look at the two of them and just say, Samas, and just start walking away.
Clinks gives you a look. Give me an insight check.
Ooh, insight. Okay, 16.
He looks
yeah.
almost frightened of you. He doesn't expect you to have spoken, and as you look around, you'll realize this man is obviously an animal tamer, animal handler. He's got various different creatures. Suddenly, you will come to the conclusion that you were brought here to potentially be put in one of those cages. He doesn't like how easily you speak, and he will just point to the door and go, and he will draw his sword.
I'd get out my shield.
Seeing this, Mizera sort of he reaches over to Clinks and puts his sword down, and then very carefully reaches over towards you, Boulderbreast. Starts to lower your club or shield or whatever you have raised.
I just have my shield.
Friends, go. Gestures towards the door, and as he does so, the door will open, as if on its own.
I'll hand over on Boulder Breast and Munch's shoulders and start backing out. But like backing out, not breaking eye contact.
Cooper's stay behind
And
me.
I'll look around, yeah, for where Cooper is.
Cooper's gone. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And I'll just I'll gesture and be like, let's go. Time to
Yeah,
leave.
I'll slowly back away, but not turn my back on them.
Oh. Hell.
We got the letter back, right? Mizera doesn't still have the
Yes,
letter.
no, he gave it back. But you are now let sort of loose into the middle of this city.
I think, I would want us to sort of move quickly away from this place.
Yeah, you
Right.
move away from the animal tamers. At one point, a wagon sort of moving through quite quickly has to swerve, and one of the men sort of shouts something very loudly at you. And then as you're swerving out the way of that, Boulder Breast bumps into a very large woman holding a large urn on top of her head. And it sort of sways one way, but she sort of pulls it up to the other, and she sort of swats at you, but doesn't actually hit you. Just sort of swats you away. But this bustling market town does not have any time to stop for the likes of you. And you can see that
Interesting.
it's
So we're
super busy.
curiosities, but we're not town-stopping curiosities.
Exactly. A space is sort of formed around you, sort of 2 or 3 meters in every direction at this point, but no one's coming any closer. But no one seems to be coming up to you either.
What kind of stores are around?
In this particular area, you see a large counter with vast amounts of shiny, pretty gems and jewels and gold and silver.
Say no more.
On the next stall over, I will say more. On the next stall over, a series of what looks like bags and satchels, all made of leather. And then next to that are various different... I think you know what a drum is. Yeah. Various different drums of all sorts of sizes. And then some wood carvings. And then over on the other side, there is one large sizzling pan with a man standing next to it, handing people sticks with meat on them. Those are the stalls you can see.
Cool. Could I go up to the one that has lots of shiny things?
Yeah, as you get sort of a little close, a man holding a long spear sort of steps forward. He's not the merchant. He's not the man standing behind the counter.
He's a
second
guard.
man. And he does sort of lower his spear, almost touch the ground near your feet. He watches you very carefully.
I just look up at him and I say, "Friend?" Clef?
He shrugs his shoulders and... Goodbye.
My eyes like go to him, to the spear, then back up to him again. And I will pull out an orange and offer it to him.
Shakes his head. The merchant comes round at this point, and he's holding something in his hands. It looks sparkly and bright, with green and blue gems and a long line of gold. And he comes and he sort of holds it up towards your neck. And then he sort of holds it in front of you. Goodbye!
You buy?
You buy!
I buy.
Ha ha! And then he looks very happy, and he puts up lots of fingers, and starts like doing this, and gives you a price. You have no idea what he said.
I hand him the orange.
He sort of pushes it back in your hands, and then he reaches over and pats your bag.
Oh.
Can Diego sort of look around?
You can
and,
all
like,
see this happening.
I know, but like, assuming we're in the market, can Diego look around to see like what the other humanoids are doing?
100%.
Like,
so lots of arguing. That's what you get the impression of. They sort of stand either side of a counter. They shout at each other. And after a while, sometimes one of them picks up a "please don't do that." One of them picks up an item from the table, reaches into a small bag, and hands them something else. You can give me a perception check if you wish to know more. I'm assuming you're all observing, so you may all choose either an insight or perception check to try and work out exactly what the process is here. Now, just a reminder on Chimvaya, not you, Josh, you're engaged in your own little thing. But on Chimvaya, there are places where you come and you give things you don't need, and you take things that you do need. But it's not really an exchange. It's sort of you put things down that you don't need and then walk off with other things that you do need. And yeah, that's what I do. Go for a walk.
Yeah, it's a gift-giving society, right?
Yes, exactly. Whereas you get the impression this is not. What do we get in terms of
Yeah.
perception or insight, Diego and
10.
and Balderbrust? With a 10, you know that what they're handing over from their pouch is shiny. Diego?
I got 14 perception. I'm in particular looking for if there are people after the conversation I had with Cooper in the sort of area with all the food. Like, are there people who clearly and Boulder said like, why isn't everybody fat? Right? Like, are there people who are clearly not getting enough to eat? You know what I mean? So that I can sort of work out this sort of like division. Like,
You
that this
did
isn't just
see.
for everyone.
You did see that people, when you were playing ball
Right.
outside, didn't seem to be trading. They seemed to be giving,
Sure,
and
sure.
there was a much. It felt more squalid. It felt simpler. Now you're in here. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody is wearing things. Everybody has pouches and bags. People are walking up to counters and taking things, and nobody is stopping to, or waiting around or looking hopeful, except there is one younger, small being who is holding the leashes of these two huge camels. So to you, a big humpback. And with your general passive insight, you can see him sort of looking over at the meat stick stall occasionally, and he looks a bit sad. Everybody else looks like they're going about their daily business. He looks a bit miserable.
Right.
We're getting that sense of currency equates to inequality.
Little bit, yeah. What did you get on your perception or insight with the Balderbrust?
I didn't roll because I'm too interested in what Cooper is doing, so it doesn't.
Okay,
make
so you're
sense
watching
to me.
Cooper. Right, okay.
I am watching Cooper
That is
like
a good
a-
role for someone
like
to
a-
have.
like a badger hawk.
But yes, I definitely think that, Munch, you would at least work out that those gold coins you got elsewhere are the things being handed over. But there's no concept, as you look at the items, there's no concept of how much or how little
Right.
should be handed over. It's fair to say that in terms of the group gold, I will say that you probably have it split between you. It's not all sitting in the bag of holding. Do we have a counter on group gold? Because at the moment, I've only got in the group loot all the other stuff.
Yeah, we didn't add the treasure cove stuff to the group loot.
Oh, I see. Okay, do you want me to ping that back out? Would that help? This is the only place you got any money, right? Except for the 4 copper pieces you found in the deserted cove.
Yeah, we actually have quite a bit of.
So 308 gold, 141 silver, and 107 copper, and a bunch of gems. Yes, you are aware that you have those, but you have no idea what they're worth. And after a little while, Cooper, as you stand in front of this man and he packs your bag, what do you do?
I will go in the bag.
Not literally,
and,
right? Because you can do that. You can literally.
No.
Okay, cool.
And I will pull out a pearl.
Kind of looks at it and then he will point to a stool down, where you see various bright, sparkly gemstones and jewels. And he will gesture for you to go there.
Oh no, he's saying I'm too poor for this place.
If that's what Coop believes, that's fine. But that is not what he's saying.
Well, I don't know what he's saying. I guess I'll put the pearl back in, and then I will nod that I'll go down there, and I'll reach my hand out to take the necklace with me.
Oh, he shakes his head at this point, and then he points to the guard and says something, and then he will step with you and walk you to the other stool.
Okay.
And then he'll point back to your bag and point to the man behind the stool.
Okay, I will take out the orange again.
He shakes his head, and he wants the other thing.
Okay, I'll take out the pearl again.
And as you do this, the man behind the counter sort of nods and smiles, and then grabs a bag and puts some shiny gold things in it, and offers you the bag and reaches
the
his
pearl.
hand out for the pearl.
Yeah, I'll trade 100 gold for a pearl.
He's only going to give you 80,
I'm being ripped off.
which is quite a good deal.
Oh, okay then.
So obviously, it's the prices that you'll have on D&D Beyond and stuff are to buy, not to sell.
You said 80?
Yeah, so don't worry about that.
80's amazing.
Because he is then going to the man who has the necklace. He's going to reach into the pouch and count 10 coins out into your hand. And then he's going to offer you the necklace for 10 coins. So he takes 10 coins out of your bag.
Oh,
puts them
I
in
thought
your
he was
hand.
going to charge me 70 and leave me with 10
he's
left.
charging you 10 gold pieces, but he's trying to make sure that you know that he's counting 10 into your hand. And then we'll trade you the necklace for the 10 gold pieces.
Yeah, I'll trade that.
Okay. This is a pretty blue and green necklace with lots of strands down that, would belong on a fine noble lady. Or a duck. Balderbreast, as you've been watching this fastidiously, at no point did the man look dangerous or nasty or mean, and Cooper seems to have come away with a pretty necklace. And as you've got the necklace in your hand, Cooper, he will reach down and, fasten it behind your neck, if you'll let him.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're now wearing this necklace.
Yep. I'm just putting
And
it
at
on
no
my-
point did he try and reach into our bag of holding.
No, he never reached.
Beautiful.
He never reached for the bag at all. The only bag he reached into was the one the merchant gave Cooper, and he just counted the 10 gold coins out. Obviously, Cooper, you have no idea how many other coins are in that bag, but there are 70 for the point of keeping your inventory correct. But there's no way you would have counted them in that time.
No.
I transferred the treasure cove loot into our group loot.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
No.
Cool. So as the... What is that? Oh, the picture is really weird. It's quite spooky.
What kind of gems are on the necklace? Sorry.
The little blue and green gems. I don't know if you would know what they are.
Oh no, it's fine. I just want the description to put in the item.
They're colored glass. That's what they are.
Oh no.
I would believe. I believe it's zirconia. Is that right? No.
Zirconia, I think, is
No,
more
that's
like
specifically
lab
false
grown.
diamonds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just pretty glass, basically. They're crystal glass. They're quite hard, quite solid, but it's just a very pretty
blue
necklace.
and green glass.
Yeah, it's a pale blue if that helps you. But think like emerald, and then like a pale blue, like an aquamarine. Those are the two colors, even though they're glass.
Yeah, I'm saving my acromine to buy a house. Because I assume my house is worth 500 gold.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, as you come back, Balderbreast, you'll notice Balderbreast sort of watching you, and you'll be able to all go back to the center of this square. And after a little while, one of the men at the sizzling meat stand will come over, and wave some sizzling meat sticks at you. And you would know that he's trying to sell you them, not give you them.
The society seems to operate on a trading basis. They seem to enjoy these shiny gold things, or these shiny things.
Well, I don't know where. I mean, I know where we got him just by taking him out of that cave, and I don't know where all these people got him. The only one around here looks like he's doing anything worth doing. Doesn't seem to have enough meat.
Maybe he hasn't found a treasure cove yet.
Yeah, that's possible. Why do they?
Wow, so
Perhaps we should offer him one of these for some of his wares. I'll reach into Cooper's bag, take out 1 gold coin, and offer it to the meat man.
Okay, as you do so, you hear a sudden shout. And behind him at the meat stand, suddenly 4 children dressed in rags sort of scoop up handfuls of these meat sticks and start running through the people. The meat man sort of looks over your shoulders and says, "Hey, yelling after the children. You can see like a couple of guards start to chase the children. You will note that the kids seem to be having fun, like they were kicking the bull, but this time they're running off with meat sticks instead of bull. And there's this big sort of kerfuffle through the market as these children run off, leaving the meat sticks stand unattended.
Oh no.
And the guy, the vendor also ran off?
No, he's just standing behind you guys shouting.
Oh, okay.
And then he sort of turns back to you. Yeah. Eh? He just offers you one.
I'll take it.
Do you give him the gold coin you were holding up?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
He sort of looks and, and then he will take the gold coin away, and then reach into his pouch and pull out 9 silver pieces and 6 copper pieces. Because it was 4 copper for a meat stick. And he gives you those coins back into the meat stick. Thank you.
I gave this man one of those things, and he gave me back 9 and meat.
9 and 6. 15.
Yeah, but
Okay.
those ones don't look as shiny as these ones.
It doesn't matter. There's more of them. Give more. Give more.
No!
Yes.
Yeah, go get your own shiny things.
I don't have any shiny thing.
Well then, sucks to be you.
Oh,
Yeah.
because it does.
We have all these shiny things, though. Remember, we found them in the cave.
Yeah, but I don't have any. I didn't want them. I didn't know they were. I didn't know they were worth anything.
Well, now you know.
That's
Very strange.
Was that why that they were hidden?
Maybe. I think it's a
They weren't
game
hidden.
though. Like they hide things and then you get them and then you trade them.
Does that mean there's like Does that mean the person with the most shiny things just found the most caves?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe the challenge is
Or
finding
sold
that.
the most meat sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Regardless,
Mysterious voice.
do any of you want any one of these? It's delicious.
The meat
I
kebab
mean,
with
just
roasted
save me.
peppers.
I just want to taste. I just want to taste.
Good.
Because everything here tastes. You have no idea.
Look at these
I mean,
shiny
you-
things
I mean,
I have.
you do-
I'll just trade more for another
You
meat.
guys
Here.
understand. You guys understand how amazing the food tastes here. I mean, food back home tastes pretty good. But, like, this is like... I've never had anything like this before. Like, that stew.
I'll look back over at the meat vendor, and I'll look over at my friends and hold up a handful of coins.
Okay. I'll say you hand him 2 silver and 4 copper. And he will give you 6
Whatever
meat
he
sticks.
takes, whatever he takes from my hand.
Yeah, he'll give you 6 meat sticks in exchange. But a woman is going to come over towards you guys, and she puts her arms out as if to herd you, and starts to motion you
Unhand me.
away from the middle of the. Right now, you're in the middle of the people. You're like there right now, and she sort of starts to guide you away. Come.
The last
Akazam.
time. The last time this happened, it wasn't very comfortable.
Akazam. Okay. And then she will point to some benches that are outside a building. And then she points to the meat in your hands and points over there.
Why does our meat belong over there?
Eat. Go. Eat. Go, she says very slowly. And she almost begins to actually push you at this point. All
right, we're going.
Until you
Someone
find
keeps
yourself
shoving us and saying go.
just outside a building. And sat on a couple of benches are 2 women, both holding a meat stick, drinking something. They look very happy. And there's 3 empty benches to the left.
I'm gonna hand everyone 10 copper pieces.
Very generous of you.
Thanks.
Ooh.
I'll go sit down, but I'll sort of like look a little annoyed at the lady, but I won't say anything.
She smiles very indulgently at you. She has no idea you're annoyed. And she thinks that she's helped guide you to a place of safety. As you sit, after a short while, a man is going to come out and look. Shit tits.
Wow,
Shit
that
tits.
bad.
Wow, for that to be the 8th word you learn.
Shit tits bugger. I completely forgot to do the handouts for these 2 NPCs. Let me get around to that.
Well, the meat stall guy.
No. I didn't need a handout for him. He's not relevant. But this man is.
Oh. Spoilers.
He is going to come out.
Oh my god, I love him.
Great. And he sort of he mentions
If
himself,
Boulder-Breast
"Jahuli!"
was a human,
and he gestures to you all and
Is he casting a spell on us?
Some of them do have fur. His coat
he
is
looks at you and then
nice.
he notes you have a water skin. He points and then he goes back in and he brings out a huge tankard without a Calippo wrapper in it. A huge tankard, and he sort of motions at you drinking. As Boulder-Breast nods, he will go inside and come out with
Yes,
4 tankards
yes.
of ale. And he will hold his hand out expectantly.
Ah, there it is. I was wondering he didn't make us give him any of these things.
Yeah, they always expect something. All right, and I mean, I know that I was given 10 copper pieces, so I'll hold that up to him.
He will pick up just 4 of them and then nod to you.
I'll hold mine out.
Strange.
4 of mine.
yeah.
He sort of nods and he holds up one finger and points to a tankard, and one finger and points to a tankard, and one finger and points to a tankard, one finger points to a tankard, and then 4 fingers and points to his hand, which is now holding those 4 coins. And then he will open the door to the inn, and he will gesture to you sitting outside and gesture inside. And I think all of you would understand he's saying sit inside or outside. It's up to you.
And I think
It's a sort
we're
of my
comfortable
doors
outside.
are open motion.
Diego, do you want one of these things?
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but it's so strange. The things you would expect be more. I don't know if I know the word expensive, but be worth more.
Yeah, worth more.
You only took one of these small brown coins.
Smells weird.
It does smell
Well, that
weird.
makes-
And that
It
that
has
makes
that other
sense that
man,
he's-
he sold you that. He sold you that thing on your neck for 10 of the shiny ones, right?
shiny. We can't. No. It has to be 3 shinies. 1 shiny of copper, 2 shinies of silver. A special shinies.
Shiny yellow ones.
But
Yes.
the meat sticks are definitely worth more than this
smells like
rancid
poison.
water.
It smells like
That's
poison.
true.
For all of you, it smells
like
like poison.
poison?
It smells dangerous. Because
I'd drink it. I don't care.
you take one mouthful and it's a little bitter. It does taste a bit like
It's
dirty water.
really bitter. This is
But then
weird.
there's this sort of cold tingle afterwards, and it's a little refreshing. And you're like,
Ooh.
yeah. And as you sort of shudder, each of you can partake in your ale. It doesn't taste nice to any of you, but it doesn't taste nasty. It's sort of like it's like a. I imagine that because your critters would drink from the river and streams on Chimvaya, they're very clean, but sometimes you get a bit of, a bit of moss flavor or a bit of mud flavor or whatever, being fresh water straight up, and you would be very used to that. So it's just a bad batch of water. I don't know why I charge you a whole copper piece for it.
subpar water.
Yeah, but with but really cold,
Yeah.
which is quite nice in this heat. But as you look up, a woman has come and sat at a bench, just the one next to you, one alongside you. Where is our friend Cora? Here she is. And she seems to be watching you fairly intently. I couldn't find one of... She looked very combative. Don't worry, she sat quite peacefully.
Is her face covered?
It is, yes.
Is she from Assassin's Creed?
She's from Bing AI art, but she is what I was looking for. She is covered in every way, and you will note she has multiple weapons on her. And she looks quite dangerous, and she's definitely studying you. And after 5 or 6 minutes, the man who was a little frightened of you, Clinks, comes and sits opposite her, and they begin to talk. And motion towards you and talk. And then another pair come out. One man's looking quite important. He was inside the inn. And he has with him Selbert, a man like this, who's not actually clutching a handful of booty at the time. But the two of them come and sit at a different table and start looking at you. Then
I don't like these.
after a
We're
short...
finally attracting that attention.
Mm-hmm. After a
very kind.
short while, a creature flutters out and is going to land a little close to you, sort of hovering just above the ground, sort of 2 or 3 feet away from you, and he lets out a strange, high-pitched chirrup towards you. This sounds like an animal noise to you. Yes.
Does that
he
thing
doing like
special
these?
special?
This one's not even special at all. It's just like a.
How big is this thing? How big is this thing?
Now Loki is 19 inches tall. I don't know why I was so specific.
So-
1'7".
Is that sort of the same size as the thing that did the backflip on the?
No, 2.5 times the size of that. This is sort of 3 or 4 inches shorter than Cooper.
Oh, okay.
And hovering off the
okay.
ground, so not that small at all.
Yeah.
And he sort of looks at you, and he's clutching some sort of... You don't really know what it is. It looks a little sticky. And he licks it every now and again. Have another chirrup noise, and then... Akazam?
Kazam.
And he sort of flutters right up in your face, Diego. And sort of looks at you from one side and from the other side, and he quite rudely like pulls at your cheek briefly and then flutters backwards.
I slap his hand away.
And floats sort of round the back and whatever, and then lands on the table, Cooper, right next to you, and peers into your ale, and then flies back up, before you can even stop him, and then he flies inside. And then after a short while comes out with a second fairy, a much more beautiful looking fairy. She is also just under 2 feet tall. And the two of them will land on the table that is next to your table. And with no manners whatsoever, both of them are holding little tiny wine glasses. And they just stare at you. Enough. Finally, quite grumpily, a female orc, you won't know that, comes out clutching an instrument of some sort. And she sort of slams the tavern door shut behind her. And sits reluctantly sort of as close to the wall as possible to be in as much shade as she can. And we'll begin to play. At this point, you realize that every single patron has left the tavern to sit outside to stare at you, so she's realized that she also must move outside to play to you. Jahuli will come out after a while and look at your mugs, noting they're not empty. He will move on, and you will see him charging people for different drinks.
Sorry, James, mine's empty.
Your mind is empty.
No, my mug's empty.
His mug is empty.
I thought you said, sorry, James, my mind is empty. I was like, that's okay, Jack. I don't mind. Like, that's a you thing. That's okay. Cool. He'll charge you a copper for a refill.
Yep.
He will babble some things at you that you don't really get. All you eventually work out is he points to the mug you've got, or the mug that maybe Diego has or Munch, which isn't empty, and will tell you it's ale. But you didn't understand enough to get any of the other words for the other drinks, so you're stuck drinking ale for now.
Ale.
Ale!
Ale.
And he will reach out his hand for a cup apiece.
God. Yeah, I give him one.
He smiles very happily.
It like tickles inside. Weird.
He looks at you with a fixed smile on his face, like he can't really get rid of it, and then Jahuli!
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Jahuli!
Boulder breast. No,
Boulder breast!
Yeah.
Boulder breast!
This one's smart.
Kazam! And then looks to Diego and hi, Jahuli! You.
Hi, Diego.
Hi, Jahuli! You, Diego. Looks over to the next one and said, "Oh, hi, Munch." Wow, he's named himself you. He looks over to Munch and says, "Hi, Jahuli, you."
Me, Julie. No.
Why not?
Munch.
Munch.
Holy.
He looks over.
Munch.
Jahuli. And then he finally waves his hand at Cooper.
I Cooper.
And you just hear the fairies in unison. Boulder breast, Diego, Munch, Cooper. Jahuli sort of looks over at them and he points and gives a weird look at the fairies, and then will look over and note that they've barely drank any of their wine, and he will head in, and we will take a short break. You're right back. Hello, welcome back to the second half of Critter Chronicles. Our little critters are sat on a bench outside the tavern, and I would like to give out some XP that I was going to give and hadn't really got around to it. 10 XP to all of you for making your first trade.
Hey.
10 XP to you all for playing football. It would have been 15, but I subtracted 5 for Cooper stabbing the ball. I'm joking, I didn't really. And 15 XP for making your way to your first tavern. I think that totals 35.
Yeah, we should be at 340.
Thank you, 340, man.
Great. Deep into level 2 territory. Cool. What are you doing? You're being stared at by 2 fairies.
Yeah, with everything like around us and so many people around us, and obviously the marketplace in front of us, I'd like to activate my goggles and see if there's any illusions around.
At first you don't really notice anything, and then you look up at the sign of the Rugged Rock, and you will notice that there is something kind of hanging there that isn't currently in use. Like, there's an illusion, but it's not active, I'll say.
Also, just really quick before you continue, the item just says that you can do this once per day. Does it say how long it lasts?
It lasts once per day.
Yeah, so if it is that, I should just turn it on at the beginning of the day.
Duration detail. It's a minute.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
Right, I'll fix that one up here. That's really weird. You would think if you put the duration in the actual like details of the item, it would also apply, like, be in the description, but it's not. Cool. Yeah, you look around, you see one latent illusion on the sign. It's only 60 feet, right?
Yeah, just 60.
Yeah, so it doesn't show you a huge amount.
Okay, cool.
This effect lasts 1 minute. Full stop save. Okay. As you're sitting there and you put your goggles on, one of the fairies looks at you and makes a little chirping noise and thinks it's really interesting and then says nothing. And you're just being stared at by these 2 creatures. And they really are. They're like sat at the edge of the table, of the edge of their table. They're holding a little glass of wine and they are just staring.
These little friends are quite rude, no?
I think they're stunned by the beauty of this around my neck. The glass.
Perhaps the fact that we can speak.
I mean, yeah, everyone's pretty like enamored that we can talk.
As you say that, Boulderbreast, the shorter, more blue one, Naloki, will repeat absolutely verbatim in Critter. I think they're pretty enamored with the fact we can speak. And he says
Holy
this,
shit, they can
he says
speak our
this
language.
3 or 4 times, and then he looks into Ossie and he repeats the phrase. He just shrugs their shoulders.
I think he was just imitating you.
He was very
He
good
was
at
quite
it.
good. He was quite good, I must admit.
Wasn't quite good. It was what I said.
It wasn't quite good. That was what I said. He repeats like directly again. And then
He did it again.
And she shrugs her shoulders and she's got these little little tiny antennae. And they begin to like move towards you and like hover a little bit. She focuses down, back up. And then each of you make a wisdom save.
Oh.
Is this a trap?
No.
Is this to do with blindness?
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna double check it is indeed a wisdom save. Oh, it's not. It's a charisma save. Sorry.
Even worse.
Oh, okay. I got a 17.
Actually, no, I'm lying.
13.
No, it is worse. 2.
Good. Who's good?
18.
Nat 20.
Okay.
Nat 2018.
So Boulderbreast got Oh, you got an 18. Sorry. So it was Diego and Cooper that rolled low, right?
No, I rolled a 17.
I got 3 17s.
Mine's with charisma is really only a 13.
Oh, okay. So yes, 13 and Diego 2 are fails. You are no longer charmed or frightened, and you feel peaceful, placid, relaxed. And even those of you who succeeded just feel a sort of gentleness come over you.
Is this calm emotions?
Yes, Diego, you vaguely note that there is some sort of magical aura surrounding you all. And then Kossi is going to flap into the air and come and land right in front of you, Diego, on the table. But she's standing on your table. She's almost 2 foot tall. She's just standing on your table. Lands right in front of you. And then she reaches out very slowly to put her hand on your shoulder.
I liked it when that little thing in the woods did this. You should let him go.
I'll sort of just like in my drunken stupor just look at it and smile.
Diego, friends. Hiya. Kossi. Diego. Kossi.
Yes, Diego.
You talk.
Of course I talk, yeah.
She's saying this in her language, so I don't think.
Oh.
I don't think you would understand.
I
You
thought
heard
that she
that it talks,
for some
so-
reason had learned my language already.
No. She says it talks like you talk, and you can. You know you, right? You've all learned I and you you heard it talks before.
Well, so I just wanted
I think
to.
you can-
I was gonna say actually while we were sitting there and Cooper was dealing with that. I think that all the while Diego would have been sitting there with his like enduring almanac, sort of trying to write down the phrases that we do know.
I am
and, like,
doing
trying-
it right now.
Yeah.
That's clever.
Uh,
That's why you're the smart one.
So they say.
My tail has stopped twitching for maybe the first time since we've been on the adventure.
Mm.
oh, the calm emotions.
Yes.
We've got I, you, friends come, go, talk. And then in the desert language, you've got Akazan.
I think we've heard
and
speak.
Samas.
We've heard speak as well. Talk and speak, sort of strangely are interchangeable. I think maybe. Diego.
I think that's the ones I've got down so far. That should you guys should be able to edit that if you want to add anything to it.
Mhm. So yeah, when she says
Ale.
you talk, I would ale, yeah. Ale. But when she says you talk, I would answer in critter, you know, of course I talk.
He smiles and do you have focus for a moment? Try really hard and then shakes her head. And she starts to like point in different directions. And then after a while, she sort of flicks her hand at the table, and this sort of illusionary map appears on the table, which will fascinate Munch, I'm sure. But you will quickly, Munch, work out that it is only a map of this island.
This is
You! Where?
I'll say Zerganta. Zerganta.
Sort of... Before? You...
Oh, perhaps you think she's asking where we came from?
well, it's
The
not
journey we
on
took?
here.
I'll
Maybe
sort of
she
like
wants to know where we've
sort of-
been.
yeah. So then I'll trace with like my finger from like
Off the map.
Zergantha on.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
well,
meant
no,
backwards.
I'll, like from Zerkantha, I'll put my hand in the illusory map.
Hmm.
And I'll sort of just like, you know, roughly trace our path on the island.
A line appears under your finger as she adds it to the illusion.
Oh. But then
You can do
I'll
that.
just,
You can do that with major image, right? You can add and edit the image. think you can
I don't know
do
that I
No,
can.
no,
She,
'cause that's
she
the-
can.
Or is that side?
School of
Well,
Illusion Wizards get that at 6th level, I think. Malleable illusions. You can make him move, and there's no reason an NPC can't do it.
NPCs have NPC magic.
Yeah. So
they
I can
do
cause
whatever the
I
hell
can
they
cause
want.
I use your action to cause the image to move. So yeah, she can move it. Like it can alter its appearance so its movements appear natural.
yeah.
So why not? I've
then-
added a little line to it. Actually, silent image, not major image that I was thinking of. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
As she goes.
Yeah, and then like if upon seeing the lion, Diego will sort of just like smile a little bit, and then as I get to like where we landed, just keep going.
Oh, she will then make a boat appear. Like a little image of a boat at the edge.
I don't know that
She
Diego knew enough the direction that we came from.
No, but
so
she
I'll just-
points at the
like,
boat and she
direct-
points at you and boat?
Oh,
You
yes.
know
I'll-
No,
word,
the boat.
don't you?
Yeah, we know that word. Boat. Yes.
That's not our boat though. Ours look different. She doesn't understand.
No, whatever. And then I'll sort of just like I'll move my finger off the island and I'll click. Be like,
The map we did get that I got from Kef it wouldn't have had us on it, or did it have Chimvaya on it?
He had drawn a very little sort
oh
of
yeah, he
corner of
drew. He
Chimvaya.
drew a little.
He drew a
yeah,
little
yeah.
circle, yeah, to indicate that that's where you were from.
Well, because we're a bit charmed at the moment, I will pull that out and show. Not sure it's wise, but I'm under
She
spell.
looks amazed. Oh, wow. She looks over to Naloki. Soon. Go. Zakantha. Go? Zakantha.
That's actually a really good question. I don't know what. What are
I
we
don't even
after?
know what she's asking.
Suppose we're looking
she
for
got?
Kef. The Kef, right?
Are we gonna stay here, or are we gonna leave from here? Because every time they say go, they're trying to get rid of us.
Yeah. I'd like to stay here. What was that, James?
Give me a second while she fails her inside check miserably. She sort of shrugs her shoulders and she will fly over to Cooper and pat his dagger. and then fly over to munch and pat his staff. Motions like fighting. Good.
No. Bad. I don't like fighting.
But that's not what she's asking. She's asking if we're good, and we are good.
I don't think that we know.
Maybe Cooper thinks that is what she's asking. That's all right. I can
True, actually.
go with that. But one of you says good and one of you says bad, and he looks a little surprised.
But Cooper, if she's... Sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say, I'll sort of, because I don't have any weapons on me, I'll sort of conjure maybe a bit of flame from the magic that I learned, flick it over at
She nods vigorously, and then she sort of wipes her hand and clears the table. Will summon a different image, and you will recognize the two at the front of this image to be Uncle and Rona. She shows a whole host of these pirates, and in the image, in the illusion, you four are standing looking very small with your weapons in your hand. As all the pirates charge at you.
I'm gonna
She puts on this little face that's like almost an animated version of sad.
Is she warning us?
But that's not us. That's a little thing. I mean, that's me, but that's not me. Well, I don't understand.
We didn't even have to fight them. We did talk to them, and they were nice. Well, that big one was
she's
kind of...
she's got her story wrong. That's not how it happened.
Naloki comes over and with his little lollipop hits Cooper's bag 4 or 5 times. And shakes his head and hits the bag again and then points to the illusion and then shakes his head and points to your bag again.
I think he's saying we need to go inside the bag to stay safe.
No, we tried that.
Do you think that perhaps what he's saying, that Uncle character was leaving here to find that bag that we found before he...
But that...
Yeah,
sorry, go on.
No, please. I wasn't sure what No, I was just gonna say, because I realized I might not be panicky because we're under the spell.
Yeah, true.
So that's why I stopped.
Yeah,
myself.
you
So
sort of
please,
feel
Joe.
like a hesitant anxiety, and then you settle down again. And she will put one last image up, and it is of Uncle bent down in front of a bag that looks exactly like Cooper's bag looks now, with his hand in it. And then he reaches out with nothing in it and looks angry and holds up his sword.
Let him be angry.
I think that perhaps that bag was that uncle's.
I told you people weren't going to be happy. I mean, sure, it'll be fine, but
And with that, she's gonna draw a cave in the air, and it looks quite real. And then her and Naloki climb into it, and they come out again. She points at all of you, and then she sort of waves and Samath, and then blinks out of existence. They both just vanish. completely.
But they abandoned the bag. I found it. I gave it a new home, a new lease on life.
I think that things work differently around here, Cooper.
Why did they leave it alone? Like,
Well,
if they want it.
Who are we to question their ways?
No, I'm just curious. Like, why would they leave it in a cave if they still wanted it?
how many times do I have to explain to everybody that people put stuff under the ground because they want it protected?
Yeah, but Munch,
No,
But then
I don't mean to sound weird. I mean, I don't mean to sound mean, but it's a little bit strange that you do that. It's okay that you do that.
Yes, but perhaps
It's
not
okay.
so-
There's nothing wrong with it. But it's
Perhaps
just
it's not
not.
so strange here. Perhaps
But-
this is common practice.
But it wasn't
Right.
under the ground.
What was in it? It was just
wasn't
a
in
really
plain-
open hole.
It wasn't in plain sight.
Exactly. It wasn't like a
Maybe-
door or anything.
Maybe they think like you, Munch, right? Because I don't think many people think like you, but maybe people on this island think a lot like you. Why do you put stuff in the ground? Why do you put your nuts in the ground and
So
stuff?
they'll be there when I come back for them later. You never know when you're gonna need them.
Munch, do you get angry when you go to
Yeah,
a
what
spot
happens when they're found?
and they're not
Well, it's
there?
kind of. I mean, right now, for some reason,
That
the way
effect
you put it,
disappeared
it
when they
sounds kind of
disappeared.
silly. But,
Say,
Oh,
say
okay.
again, Jay?
The calm emotions would have disappeared when they disappeared. I was just-
Oh.
Okay.
You may now
Well-
panic.
yeah. They're gonna be angry. I told you they're gonna be angry. Yeah, look,
Jahuli comes over and offers to refill your ale.
Yes.
I think they should be angry with themselves.
they might, but that doesn't mean they're gonna blame themselves.
I think I do not want to be here when they come back.
But where do we go?
About a cave, but perhaps we leave this place.
What about?
They know we are here. They know we are in Zorkanta. We told them.
There's a lot more stuff on this map too.
But I don't understand, right? Because when they I don't. What were they? What? We saw the little picture, the little guy, the little version of Uncle on the table. He reached into the reached into the bag and then brought out nothing. Is that gonna happen? I don't understand. Like, what's the deal with that? Because, like, what about if we just give him? What about if we just give it back?
What?
I love that I was sitting here going like, well, how are we going to explain that Cooper's never going to do that? Cooper instantly just goes, we're not doing that.
You would also at this point realize that at least some of it has been spent, consumed.
Haven't you ever heard the phrase "finders
Finders
keepers,
keepers."
losers
I knew
weepers"?
that was coming.
Yeah,
Well, they're
but
weeping.
have you seen the number of friends that they had?
But look at all
And
the
if-
friends we now have.
Yeah, but all our friends are like little people,
We're little
and
people, but we
and
can
they
do
play with a
amazing
little
things.
round thing. I don't think that round thing is gonna go against a giant nail.
We don't know that. Just because it
We
didn't go
did,
very well
because it
against a
didn't-
little nail doesn't mean
Exactly.
it wouldn't go well
It's
against
like
a big
the
one.
little nail destroyed the thing.
Can Diego have a look around?
Yeah,
I think he's getting
And also,
a
you,
bit of Munch's nervousness is rubbing off on him now that the calm emotions has disappeared.
so there's a couple of things worth mentioning. First of all, you know this is a hell of a big city,
Mhm.
but you have noticed that wherever you go, you are looked at. Secondly, you obviously had the smaller shacks and houses outside with the kids who were obviously friendly to you. And thirdly, you know that when you came into the city in the outskirts, and I will just give us an image of that. Here. There were lots of sort of quite tall rocks in and around the area. You also, from where you're sitting, are looking out at the harbour. So that's just a brief image there before I move you to the harbour. You are looking out at the harbour. And you do see boats here. You're sort of, if you imagine, you are sat like up there. So you're sort of looking down, you see boats coming and going. And you know that those guys went off down to a different part of the coast. Those pirates. I mean, you don't know what they are in thingy in game, but you would know that they are different.
Uncle and his friends.
Yeah, that's the way they went. Whereas these boats seem like they're a little more static. Some of them are floating just a little way out into the water. And you have seen a couple return with fish while you're sitting here having your drinks. And you will see past the harbor lots of little caves and coves and shanty areas and stuff that is less, there are hundreds of them. You could duck into any one of the 10,000 caves and you would be less easy to find.
What was the status of our own boat? Obviously, we wrecked here, but we built the boat once. Presumably, whatever
Yes,
damage was done to it, we could.
you, I believe you ran it aground, ran it ashore.
Yeah.
And it will remain in that quiet area of the beach. You will know nothing where you landed. You could get back to said boat.
Seeing Diego looking at the harbor, Diego, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I don't know. Are you thinking we should leave on one of those boats?
Yes.
But like, we haven't like we don't even know how to talk to him.
It can't be that hard.
We've been trying this whole time and we've only got like a couple of words.
Well, we got enough to get this necklace.
Friends, come, go. Yeah, we know that.
Oh, do we trade the shiny things for a boat? There's a big boats though.
Your boat was also quite large. So it was just about manageable for the four of you.
Are there any like really big boats?
Yes. I mean, this would hold sort of... Oh, you mean like ships? No, none. The biggest boats you see are sort of 8 or 9 man boats.
So like, from a player perspective, these are only fishing boats? Like, they're not gonna like go
100%.
elsewhere?
Okay, like sort of like yachts and
you might be able to get
like
to
that.
another island on one of these, but it wouldn't be the ideal transport. That being said, it's very similar to the transport you used to get here. So yeah, it's up to you. I mean, I will say from a DM perspective, I'm not trying to force you out the city. They may find you. They may know it's their bag. They may not. If you remember, I did say it looks totally different now, and they saw you holding the bag and didn't even notice it because it was so totally different. So I mean, obviously they might recognize, for example, the glass bowl with the fish in it, or something more distinctive like that. But it would take quite a lot of accidental happenings for you to get directly blamed, but you might be indirectly blamed if you're not too careful. So,
Although they didn't notice Cooper wearing the goggles.
no.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to work out like what is it that led the fairy to this understanding.
She obviously had a very, very solid grasp on magic.
Yeah.
And probably some divination.
Yeah, maybe she could even see through the bag.
Exactly. Maybe she sees that bag as exactly the same as Uncle's bag. It is. I'll give you that. You can have a D4 for it. Good detective work. And at this point, Jahuli is going to come and stand in front of you and hungry. He pats his belly and sort of rubs it. And then you see him go to another table and... you see a young girl come out of the tavern and go to another table and put food out in front of them. And he points to that food and points to you. Hungry?
I nod vigorously.
I'm not, but I'll eat.
2 copper.
Yeah?
Jahuli.
He will point to the coppers and he will sort of give you a thumbs up and he will point to all 4 of you and he'll hold his hand out to each of you for 2 copper.
Well, so I'll sort of shake my head at the food, but I'll say Jahuli, and I'll reach into the bag, the communal bag, and pull out one of the gold pieces and say, "Boat."
Gold. And he points to the other one, it's silver. And then points to the third one, copper. You want boat?
Cooper?
Boat? points out to the harbor boat. And then he points to the sort of gold piece, and he does like 10 times.
He's casting a spell on me.
Oh no! Quickly counter it.
It's okay. The last time it was quite nice.
He will point to the coin and say 1. And then he will get the 2 copper pieces and he'll put them out to 2. He'll start teaching you to count. 3, 4, 5. He runs out of coins at 11, right?
Writing
Then
all
he
this
says,
down.
10.
Diagrams.
And then he does another line and sort of moves them up. 10. And then another line. He begins at 10, 20, 30, 40. And he gets all the way up to 100. Coach.
Yeah, and Diego, when he
Need
was
a
doing
lot of
this
these.
thing, Diego, when he was doing that thing, the person who gave Cooper the necklace did that as well, and it just meant a lot of the
Means
a lot
I
of
think
the little shiny things.
And I'll hold up my book. I think it means exactly. And then I'll draw like 10 coins. These men.
That many.
Yeah, he will.
As many if they have digits.
Yes, exactly. He will do 10, and you can learn to count to 20 here. That's as high as you guys will get. But you'll also hear the word 100, which at the moment just means a lot. All you've got there.
But when he does this, I know that he means like tens upon tens, right? So it's just
Yeah,
like
I
a
will
lot.
tell you, however, that it's quite obvious. He's telling you how much it would cost to buy a boat. It might cost you a lot less than that to trip on a boat.
Passage. Is the
But-
passage on a boat? Yeah.
I will remind you, it is only just over a day's walk. Get back to your own boat.
Mm.
And you know how to operate that boat, and it's made sort of to your size.
Mhm.
You'd have a real hard time climbing the mast of one of these, because each rung would be sort of like your whole body height, right?
Yeah,
So you'd be
yeah,
pulling
yeah.
hands to feet. I mean, obviously Cooper can get up there, and I'm sure Munch could probably climb up the side of it, but it's still the same logic, right? It would be a lot easier if you'd use your own boat.
We just turned Cooper into a kite again,
Doesn't want.
or for the first time.
Yeah, I I don't remember saying yes before.
I'll nod at Jahuli and say thanks in my language.
Thank you. Teach you thank you, or try. And then he will look again and hungry. He'll pat his belly and point at you, and then pat at your belly and point at Cooper. Am I right in thinking that only Munch and Boulder Breast are eating? Great.
Yeah, I think Diego would have had his fill with the meat sticks. He's
Yeah.
not super.
He's gonna bring out a fairly small bowl of. Yeah. Oh, and one of those.
Ale.
Another copper. Ale. And then he points to the 2 empty glasses that the fairies left behind. Wine. And points to your mug. Ale. Wine. Ale. Wine.
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 Wine. Ale. Ale, wine.
Can I grab one of the little glasses and sort of sniff it?
Yeah, it smells like stronger poison.
Oh no.
Give it a little flick.
Mhm.
tongue?
There's
I
a-
only
yeah,
have
yeah.
5 copper pieces
It
left.
tastes nice. Yeah, the it'll cost you 3 copper pieces per glass of wine. They're quite small glasses of wine.
This makes sense. This one is much nicer.
It is much nicer. It is fruitier. It still tastes. It's got that taste of poison in it, but it's a fruity poison.
Yes, I think we should do it.
Yeah.
Pay the man.
And you guys, you can just use 1 silver piece out of the group funds, and that'll get you 2 lots of food and wine for 4 if you wish. Keep things simpler. And
Okay.
Jahudi will come back with 2 steaming bowls of rice, at the center of which is some fish. And again, it's got that sort of peppery, spicy smell to it. I think it's probably a fair assessment that at first it'll just look like they've spoiled the fish, but when you eat it, it'll actually be really delicious. This is quite a lovely meal. And you'll note that the crowd has changed, but what hasn't changed is that everybody who's sitting at the tables outside, they're all watching you guys. You've definitely become a tourist attraction. Even at this point, people who would walk past normally in the street are stopping and looking, and A couple of them have gone into Jahuli's and come out with a drink. And Jahuli seems very pleased that you're on a fairly central table, as you are doing wonders for his business. Even the bard, like at this point, the bard, fairly fed up, comes over and introduces herself. And her name is Leilina, and she will attempt to mime playing an instrument and point at you. I know, obviously, very sadly, we lost Jean-Luc, who would have been able to join in. But,
I do play 2 instruments.
do any of you? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do any of you play instruments, and do any of you have the instrument you play?
I have one of the instruments I play.
What do you play?
I play
the trombone.
I play
Sorry.
drums. I play drums and the horn, and I have a horn.
Great. So this is going to be like one of those typical, Horn of Gondor type horns.
Yes.
And you can get it to but it's sized and styled for your size. I have no idea how a duck plays a horn, but you can give it a great go. You've got no lips.
We just go with cartoon logic.
We had a skeleton saxophonist in our previous campaign, so I see no... Hey, it's friendly here. Welcome in, guys. Thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream. Everything's going on today. Yeah, so we've got a duck playing a horn, and Lainey looks absolutely fascinating. Unfortunately, you've only got one note on your horn, so she doesn't really know what else to do with it. But she tries to make a sort of monotonous tune to go along with you. And one of the older ladies comes and pops a single copper piece in her sort of open case of her lute. And she suddenly looks very grateful to you for joining in this stupid horn. It really is like a professional musician has come in to play the guitar and you've joined in with a kazoo.
It's just...
Exactly. Not much rhythm going on either. Didn't your zombie sound like that in Buildania?
Yeah, no, there's that. It was more
Good.
like that.
I'm glad that nobody's died yet. No one's died here. We just saw 4 little critters. Yeah, as we sort of evening rolls on, you've now been sat at Jahuli's for 3 or 4 hours. Various different people coming by. At one point, a really fairly aggressive man approached the edge of the sort of tavern table area. I'm just looking for Yeah, it is. It's this guy. He sort of made a few inquiries and looked quite mean and nasty. But that animal tamer that you saw before, Clinks, sort of pulls his sword and comes over and starts sort of, no, talk, no, pushes him away. And you will note that behind that man, Brendan, are 3 or 4 different people wearing manacles. And fairly obvious to you all that they are being forced to walk behind him. I don't know what slavery is necessarily.
Brendan kind of looks like the evil giant from the BFG.
Is he?
Oh my god, I haven't seen the BFG in so long. Wait, the cartoon one?
Yeah.
Let's go to roll.
Yeah.
This guy apparently, the big giant in the who knows. Anyway, your somewhat friend now, Clinks, will come up and sort of brandish his sword and sort of send him away. Like, no, go away. They talk. He will come over to you and he will mime sort of unraveling something and like this and reading it, and then he'll take out a little scroll of his own and he'll pull it out and put it closed and put it in his pocket, and then he'll point to you, Cooper, and point to the man.
Cooper.
Brendan sort of looks at you and he sort of again tries to like unfold his scroll and the letter.
I'll give him the letter.
He'll show it to he won't let Brannon touch it. Just shows it to him. And he rolls it back up and puts it back in your hand very firmly, Cooper. Once again points his sword at Brendan and points away. turns his back and walks away. And you sort of hear a collective sigh of relief from other tables.
Is there any do we have any inclination that this was like a bad person?
Yeah, you can see that he had nasty intentions for you and Clink's chasing him away.
Okay, then I will throw one of my acid berries that I got from those little spirits at the back of his head.
Yeah. Roll a hit. Give me a dex check. It will be. That's your proficiency modifier. Yeah, if you're proficient in something that you're not expertise in on your page, I don't know. These tools maybe.
Okay, that's a 15.
Oh yeah. This berry sort of hits you in the back of the head. And he looks up. He's a little irritated, and he walks off. He doesn't seem to put two and two together, but that it was you. But you do hear some snickering from the woman with her face covered. Or why are these not in A to Z order?
Can I sort of look over at Clinks, who I was previously scared of, and sort of try to say, thank you.
Okay. Clink.
I'll lean over to the group. They like that one.
They do. Cooper, I love you. Please
I love
don't.
You too.
Please don't make anyone fight us by throwing a little berry at them. That dude looks scary.
But who was gonna do bad things?
I know, but luckily we had friends.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't understand your point.
Yeah, I don't understand my point either. Just don't do it, please.
I'm gonna speed us forward in time slightly and let you guys finish your food and your drink. At which point Cora will approach you. Friends, come. Safe place. Means nothing to you.
Soof Palace?
Safe place.
Do we go?
Well,
It seems
She
okay.
holds her hands out as if to show she's not holding any weapons, and then
You know, I wish they would take us to a safe place.
I mean, if we don't go with her, where are we gonna go? I don't have any other. I mean, what's the plan here?
I agree.
Come and go and come and go. They really want to tell us where to go, but I guess that makes a bit of sense because like we don't know where to go, so it's
Yeah.
kind of warranted.
Well, they kept pointing and saying Zacantha. I think I guess we're there now. So where the hell else are we gonna go?
Let's go.
If it's
Like
a
rush everyone to get up.
all right.
Follow
Calm
this
down.
strange woman.
I've had a lot to drink, so I assume I get up and then fall over.
she will just sort of have a little giggle, and she'll help you up. And ale, you like?
Ale.
Great, he's belligerent.
Ale, good.
Ale good.
Yeah, you can have the word "good" added to your group words so far. Let's give you the word "good." Oh, hold on. Let's put it on that page.
He's gonna have the nastiest hangover in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll do some research. The badgers get hangovers. But anyway, she will lead you through some tight, winding streets, and even with no city knowledge whatsoever, you'll quickly notice that you're going somewhere that feels a little less pretty than the main souk. And eventually, she leads you to this place with a closed door, and it's got these sort of sandbags up halfway outside the door, and every window is shuttered. And come on. This guy's out either. Bear with me a second. I'll go find him. I did lots of prep today. I just didn't put it on Roll20. I promise. I was too busy finding cool music. Like I was quite excited by finding some music. It fits the vibe, doesn't it? It's nice.
The music's been beautiful.
Wyoming sort of style. I've only done in one pre-campaign once. In the pre-campaign to Soulforged, we touched on a desert Suki kind of bizarre city once, but it's the only time I've done it, and I quite like the style. Anyway, after a while, the door opens, and this man comes to the door. At you all, and looks questioningly to Cora. Cora nods and they talk. He'll gesture to each of you. Hoopa, Alderbrust, Diego, Munch, Zanru.
Akazam.
He smiles. Agazam, is it? Hello. Welcome.
I've heard this one. Welcome.
Welcome.
Ale?
He smiles and no. And he'll
Wine.
he'll pat like as he's just inside the door. He'll show you that just by the door is a well. And when you say wine, no, water. And you'll note that the well goes into the ground. And you've seen a well before. You know what it does. You saw one in on the beach back on the north side of the island. And he'll gesture that you can take take the water whenever you want. And he'll lead you in. He will introduce you to a woman.
Stay hydrated.
No, not her. Yeah, he'll introduce you to a woman who is sort of literally sat at a table in a cloud of smoke. She's not actually smoking a pipe like that. I couldn't get a picture of a woman smoking a shisha pipe or hubba bubble or whatever other word you might have. God only knows what it is in Aussie. Do you have shisha pipe in Aussie?
Okay.
Yeah, we have shishas.
Great, you know what it is. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the one I never expected to have to know what the American version is. Lots of people call them hubble bubble in England. Idiots.
It's called a hookah, and you smoke.
Okay,
shisha.
that's what
Yeah,
I figured
hookah.
you
That's
must
the other
be
one.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yes, that's the American one. I
Like
think.
shisha, I think technically is the name of the tobacco that you smoke in the hookah.
You can indeed put shisha in tobacco, correct? But we know them as like a shisha pipe, a pipe full shisha.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Shisha pipe.
she's just surrounded in this cloud of smoke, and you see her like to look at you, and then rubs her eyes and clears the haze of the smoke in front of her, and she rapidly sort of just gives them a spiel of words, and you hear your names introduced back to her by Zanru. But this is Zanru's place, and he will repetitively use the phrase "safe place," which I think eventually you will get to know means somewhere is okay. Somewhere that is.
What's she doing?
He sort of points towards her and. Maisie? That's all he says, just Maisie. He gives you her name.
Maisie. What's she doing? She got a big thing. It's making smoke like a fire.
He doesn't understand you, so I'll let you the rest of you reply.
Well, maybe she's on fire. I'll get like a wing full of water from the well and try and throw it on her.
She sort of looks at you and laughs, and and she blows a sort of long smoke ring, a spiral of smoke rings, like 4 or 5 of them, towards you, and then gestures with her hand, and they will become ducks. They fly towards you.
It's you.
Does the smoke
Mom,
smell nice?
Dad.
And then he will once again come, and he will lead you up the stairs. You'll see 4 or 5 rooms with the doors sort of barred, and he unbars one. We'll show you that you can bar it from the inside too. You hear chatter from behind 2 or 3 of the doors, and you would know that there are other people in those rooms, but they seem to be closed off. But in here you see sort of 2 or 3 feather beds and a bedroll on the ground. And then he sort of gestures, you! And then he puts a large bronze key in Munch's hand. Points to this door and then also to the front door.
And does it definitely seem like right? Presumably, we're not then worried that he can bar it from the outside and trap us in there.
No. So he'll show you that when you turn the key from either side, it sort of moves this little bar up and down. He's showing you that you can lock yourself in, and that you can lock it when you go out, and that it will unlock the front door. You do see that he has a matching key at his waist, so you know he would be able to unlock the door. But he's trying to tell you that you can lock and unlock and go, and you go, you come, you go, you come. Safe place.
Cooper, I think we got your wish.
Which was...
A safe place.
Oh, right.
I'm gonna immediately write down the safe place equals safe place.
Yes, I've assumed that you put the translations down in these words.
Yeah.
I'm going to start rummaging around the room.
There's not much in here. There's some empty shelves for you to put stuff on. There is some spare linen for the beds and a couple of blankets if it gets cold. And there's this sort of basket hanging from the ceiling that's got like smelly leaves in it.
What kind of smelly? A good
Nice
smelly
smell.
or a
A nice
bad
smelly, yeah.
smelly?
They're a little strong for your noses. I'll take a nature check if you come across these before.
Oh, I'm drunk. I'm not gonna do one.
Anyone who wants. It
I'll
doesn't have to
try.
be you.
I got a 15.
Yeah, Diego and Cooper, you would both know that this is lavender. So there's just sprigs of lavender in a basket. Keep the smells.
Hope none of us has asthma.
Quite pleasant.
Lavender affect asthma?
Yeah.
Know that. Yeah. As you
It's
find-
quite pleasant in here.
As you find yourself in a safe place, Xanru's place, you may take 30 experience points.
Ooh.
And that is where we are going to end.
Nice.
You may long rest if you wish, or you may pick up next time in the early evening, sort of 8, 9 o'clock. It's totally up to you guys, or what you do with that. But we will come to the timeless tradition of MVPs. We had a rather fantastic recap by Jack, 10% of which I actually remember to stream. And so our first MVP will come from from Rico. One and the same.
And I think just everyone's staying so in character today. I mean, like, I feel like this table always is that way, but especially today, it was just like, you know, it was easy to tell when we were talking amongst ourselves and when we were speaking in character context. So that was really good.
I think it helps that, in the nicest way possible, because they are great characters, but they're also kind of slightly caricatures, right?
Yeah.
And I think that does help, because it is very easy to identify the difference. But I agree with you. I felt like everybody was really sort of on it with being character and stuff today. Joe.
So I stopped us already once to say it, but I want to give an additional MVP version of saying too, like as I said when Josh was just like, "What?" immediately, or "Why are we going to give that away?" or whatever it was.
What?
So it's not just this thing. We're all good in characters and caricatures of them, but it's the speed of it, right? Like as soon as I'm going, well, now we're going to have to deal with it. No, it's already handled. But that's really the setup for the main thing for me, which was Boulder Breast taking guardianship of Cooper at this point and going like, okay, I'm gonna try to keep people under control. So that sort of seemed like the role that you built Boulder Breast for initially, and now sort of stepping into that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add to that. Coming to a table that's played 80 episodes together, and Jack, you've just week after week, I just continue to be impressed by how easily you sort of fit yourself in and found the right place. And now our ale drinking badger is just, it's just a part of the table. Josh, your MVP.
Yeah, I can't remember the specifics of it, but it was Munch's rant to Cooper
Under the
about
nuts, you
stealing.
freak!
Yeah. It was just
what I've
so
written down.
fucking funny. Yeah, I really loved that.
Yes, especially as when you didn't know what the
All
letter
the
was.
trauma,
And he was
of like Cooper stealing Munch's nuts.
Years of stolen nuts. It all came out of that one moment. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. Jack, your MVP.
Josh was on fire this session with like stabbing the soccer ball and then trying to trade an orange for a necklace and and just being like immediately like, we're not giving up all the stuff we stole. What are you joking? Like, it was awesome. Like,
you were a
Josh was
very
just
nice
so good
chaos
today.
gremlin today.
It
was lovely.
Everything.
Always. That's all.
I've got a few. I think it's a little bit of credits to Joe for managing to cough in Munch's voice after the spice got eaten, which was absolutely genius. Like, it was like this little cartoon wheeze. It was fantastic. Jack and Josh with their, what is different? Is it different from different? Or is it special? Like special or different? It's what I've written down, which I just thought was genius. The interpretation from Rico that friends was a new word for Kefs, which was just, just such silliness. But I think we do need to establish next week a word for the people. And I also had Joe's rant of under the nuts, you freak. And the stabbing of the soccer ball. But I also just I really like the pacing today. It's very rewarding as a DM when you guys are willing to spend as much time as you are just interacting with silly shit, right? I gave you a market stall and a pub, and you gave me 3 hours of content. So thank you very much. You did a great job. I really enjoyed today's episode. I've been looking forward to it for a while. Welcome to Zakantha. We shall, that is, however, where we're going to end. So if you guys would like to say goodbye.
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 It remains for me to say to Pyrus and to Cryo, it's Cryo, sorry, it's nice to see you here. Friendly here, thank you much for the raid. And we shall see you soon.